welcome to another episode of Roses Are Red podcast with your host, Mrs. Red Rose, her co-host, Sam I Am from the Married Couple Podcast, and AC from Midnight Media.
Welcome in, everyone. Oh, you know what?
Mm.
I'm going to put AC in the middle here.
There we go.
Oh, hey.
Put AC in the middle between us.
2 chicks on the end.
That works.
OCD goes crazy.
Big sandwich.
Yeah.
So what a crazy week, right? With all these crazy stories that are coming out, between P. Diddy getting arrested, being on suicide watch. I mean, what a crazy, crazy week.
I swear every time I look at the news, there's another update about Diddy.
Yeah. every time. Every minute, like you open your phone and something goes, P. Diddy now,
Yeah.
And, I thought he was going to, post bail. I honestly thought he was going to post bail and he was going to get out.
They don't want him to.
And there's a lot of new charges that came out, right? If I'm not mistaken, I think there's a couple of new ones that came out. Or are they all still the same?
I don't know. I haven't really read in depth, but there could be.
We went over it.
But I think they added some new ones, I think on Monday, I want to say maybe. But I could be wrong. I could be reading the whole thing wrong.
Okay. We talked about racketeering. We talked about, which is the RICO charges, right? Which is very hard to get out of. Once people say RICO, it's pretty much over. Like RICO is unbelievable. That means basically your organized crime syndicate has extorted money from people. And then you add, and I think I misspoke the last time we recorded. I think he's actually going to get the rest of his life in jail. Because I said 8 to 10 years, maybe. And I would, for Friday, I would certainly say that he's going to get a lot of years. I think I misspoke. I didn't know enough, but now I believe that he's probably going to get the rest of his life in jail.
He probably will, especially with a RICO charge. And I mean, that's where they get you that type of a charge or a conspiracy or whatever. Those aren't as, well, I mean, RICO is, but like a conspiracy charge isn't as hard to prove as, they did it. I mean, it is, but it's easier for people to go, oh yeah, you're right. And the reason they don't want him out, from what I've heard, is they don't want him out talking to people and,
flight risk. Just leave.
He's also a flight risk, but they also think if he gets out and he speaks, out in the media and things like that, it could taint a jury. It could do a lot of those other things that will hurt the case. So
just what a crazy, crazy week.
Yeah.
This story. So
that's been crazy. Let's see. Might as well look into it a little bit. So I think you said there's some new charges, right? I think there are new allegations have surfaced, I think. So his bodyguard, I think you're right. Rose, his bodyguard. And a woman claimed that he was drug sexually assaulting them in 2001. So that's a new one. And then they recorded it and distributed it without her consent. So I guess.
Yeah, that's not good.
Kind of like that 72-year-old lady that got repeatedly raped.
Yeah, that poor woman.
Yeah.
Just so sad.
So lawsuit filed Tuesday, and then Talia Graves alleges that she was 25 when she met Combs, now 54, through her boyfriend who worked at Bad Boy Records. The claim is that after he got indicted for sex trafficking and racketeering charges, now on top of it, I'm not sure what kind of charge this is, but this is going to be something else on top because she is not happy.
Yeah, it looks like, he looks like he pulled a Bill Cosby on her. That's what it looks like.
Graves said that she was in a Manhattan studio with her hands tied behind her back. The lawsuit alleges Combs entered the room and raped her, smashing her head into the pool table while she tried to resist. Okay. Jeez. I mean, come on. This guy's literally a monster, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Wow.
So literally a monster. Sounds good.
I mean, it appears to be that way. It seems like, I mean, again, when people have been saying this about Diddy for a long time, though. I mean, a lot of people are like, don't go to one of Diddy's parties. You don't want to end up there. You don't want to end up in that type of a thing. But I mean,
My point with Rose the other day was some people there's Diddy people who are like, I can't wait for one of those Diddy parties, man. You gotta, make sure to invite me next time, okay, Diddy? I love those parties. And other people are
right.
just like, oh, a party. I'll go to a party. And then
Mhm.
just like innocent bystanders who are like,
And they were like, whoops, this isn't what
what
I
the fuck
wanted.
is this?
Exactly.
But other people are like, party, right? But like the party in
Mhm.
the back, right? The part of the real party.
Right.
And that's the gross. That's the gross.
Right. It's like a speakeasy for sex acts.
Yeah. But really
But
heinous
like,
ones that
yes.
involve all types of different people and possibly underage people.
Mhm.
And then that implicate other celebrities, which is really bad.
Oh yeah.
And then so this is her breaking down, like saying the story.
Wow.
I wonder why now.
Just
Well, I mean, if
Now
it's
that-
2001 and Diddy's at his height, which he
Mhm.
was,
Mhm.
right? So 2001 and Diddy's at his height, and you may say something, but they're like, yeah, whatever. It's Diddy. He's got the money. Nobody's really looking into him. Fast forward, 23 years. And now it's come out that he has done he's alleged to have done these things. More people have come out. It's a bit safer to go, hold on, this happened to me too. But, it is, that's where the Me Too movement came in. Like, hold on, now I can say something and now you might believe me because I can tell you 2001, if you came up and especially against somebody that was within power and had money, they're like, yeah, whatever, you wanted it, you're a groupie. You know what I mean? Not
Yeah.
many people believed you. It was harder to, and I'm not saying, I think the Me Too movement went way too far.
Oh, good. I'm glad you said that.
No, I do. However, I do feel like it's safer to say something now than it was back then.
It's also easier for someone to lie because everyone's kind of,
I do think it went too far. However, I mean, there has to be a happy medium.
Of course.
As far as being a woman, it was really, I mean, I don't know how many women go through something like that and go, I'm just not going to say anything because there's nothing going to be done,
Mhm.
And then, because, what were you doing? What were you wearing? Were you provoking it? Did you lead them on? Did you do this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, how many, it's been told to me before. It's been asked of, what did you do to deserve XYZ?
What happened? Right.
Yeah.
You must have wanted it.
You must have provoked it. You must have egged it on.
Right, exactly.
Do you think that that's never the case? It's never the case that a woman kind of brings it on?
No, I mean, if you say no and it's not something that you want, it's no.
Right, of course.
I mean, you don't go.
Do you believe that women help themselves sometimes? Like sometimes they just don't even. If you believe there are monsters in the world, and maybe you shouldn't hang out with a big piece of meat on the back of your. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all I'm saying. That there's monsters in the world, and just no sometimes won't cut it. More needs to be done than just no, because monsters are gonna say, oh, well, right, no, you're right. They're just gonna go through with it.
I mean, there's times when you do say no and you do more and you're like, fuck off, get away from me. And you are the smaller or less strong of the power dynamic there, right?
Mhm.
We've talked a lot about power dynamics, and it may be, somebody who is in a position higher than you, or in this case, like with Diddy, he's, a superstar. I mean, she was drugged, but
that can literally give you a life, like can literally give you a career. This guy can do anything for you.
He could, but what I'm saying is, in that respect, you can say, get the fuck off of me. But if he has an entourage of people helping him, what are you going to do?
Of course. Or, like I said with Rose the other day, I know you're going to hate it when I say this, and you hate it every time. Some people need to get their fucking career off the ground. And if you have,
there's people, there are, good and bad, all around. There are people who can use it to further their, going into it, knowing this is going to make me a star, or this is going to make me whatever. I think that's a smaller percentage of people
Really?
than, I mean, it's
I
not,
think so.
to come forward in something like that for when you already feel shame.
Sure.
You already, I mean, I really do believe that it is harder. And again, one good thing that came through the Me Too movement was that if something was to happen to me now, I feel a bit more confident that it would be taken seriously as opposed to 25 years ago or even 23 years ago when this happened to her. Um,
And she never came out with it because she's like, who am I? I'm like nothing compared to this
Right.
person who's, no one's going to believe me, to someone who has lots of money and fame and,
But now it's
Mm.
better. And now it makes more sense too.
Right. And now everybody knows, or I mean, he has these allegations against him. Okay. Now I can say what happened to me as well. And again, that's
Me
where
too,
Me Too
right.
came. I
Sure.
don't want to say that too much, but
Yeah.
it's true though. I mean,
True.
that's how that came about. Again, definitely are there people out there who are not telling the truth? Yes.
There are
But
people who
I
are taking
mean,
advantage of the system. People will be like, "Oh, charlatans." Who are
there's
like,
always
"Oh,
somebody taking
now it's
advantage of the
cool to say this." Now,
system.
of course,
Right.
and everywhere there are people who are ahead of the game, just waiting for the shoe to drop to be like, "Oh, let me take advantage of that." And of course, yeah, I'm sure there's a much smaller percentage of the
Well,
people.
and typically the bad apple spoils the bunch. However, I mean,
Yeah.
if we are going to err, I'm glad we're erring on the other side of it, as like, let's investigate it all,
Yeah, of course. Instead of
um,
not investigating anything.
right, instead
Mhm.
of making the person that it actually happened to feel bad that they brought it on themselves. So
There's just a certain amount of people in the world who are just waiting for it to be to find just the liars, and then they find the liars and they go, "Look, see, I told you, they're all liars."
of
And
course.
that's how the bad apples spoil the bunch.
Hmm.
And the more there are, unfortunately, the more it discredits it dilutes the whole message,
Right.
which sucks. But hopefully there's a way to quickly dissolve that, because historically, domestic violence, anything like that, I can just scratch myself as a woman and be like, "You scratched me, you're going to
Mhm.
jail." And you call
Good.
and they go to jail. And you scratch yourself, like,
Mhm.
"Well, you scratched me, you're going to jail." And then like the guy goes to spend the weekend in jail. It's like, what the fuck? I didn't do anything. I just a psycho bitch I just met, you know?
Right, and that definitely happens. I guess because I'm not one that thinks that way, I would never even
That
think of
happens.
doing that. No,
That
I
happens.
know it happens. I've known women who have done that. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
yeah.
They're not, in my, friends of mine anymore, but back
Right.
in, in the day. No, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? No.
Fucking bitch, yeah.
That's bullshit.
I'm all for guys taking the fall if it's the guy. I'm all for that. I'm the first guy to be like, "Fuck that guy, take him away."
Right.
But if
Yeah,
it's
but don't,
not,
yeah.
you know,
But again, that's just not me. I would never ever think that way.
right. Well, Rose, have you ever scratched yourself and called the cops?
No.
Oh,
No.
punch yourself in the
No.
eye.
I you know what? I have seen someone do that on a live and then blame everybody on a social media account and say it's all your
Oh.
guys' fault. All of you guys made me do this. And I'm like going,
Oh yeah,
the fuck?
Wow.
No.
it's a lot of blame.
A lot of blame. A lot. And
A
I
lot
was
of
like,
blame to put forward.
holy
So
shit.
this though, like this almost gives me a little bit of like, you know what I mean? Like the whole like posing with the thing with a lawyer. It just I don't know.
Well,
Is it done for anything else like that? It's always, gives it like a little like a smarmy kind of a like a
yeah, but
film
you
to
don't
it.
know what that reporter's going. That reporter might be like, "Hey, we want this for the picture,"
True.
and she might be. I mean, she doesn't look all that comfortable in that.
Yeah.
It's not like she's like, "Yay, look at
Look at
me!
my
I'm filing this suit against this motherfucker.
right,
I'm
right,
gonna get my comeuppance." You know what I
right,
I don't
mean?
right.
know. I think the attorney looks more uncomfortable than she does. I'm gonna be honest with
Well,
you. I think the
they
attorney
both
looks more
don't
like,
look comfortable, but
I mean, I would be uncomfortable with the Barney suit too, but
Yo.
yeah, neither of them look comfortable, but it's the way of our society now. Everything is captured in video on, to be put on social media or on the news. So
This woman says this has put a strain on my selection of men in relationships where they become aggressive and abusive, which has made me feel even more alone in my struggles. I go through spells of being so distant and withdrawn that it's sometimes hard to leave my house. She's gotten agoraphobia, I guess.
I mean, I can understand.
PTSD, depression. It's a long time. Flashbacks, nightmares.
Okay. I do.
Mm.
What's
I
up?
don't know. Unless she's been seeking help, getting help. I don't know. I mean, maybe because I worked for an insurance company and I was an adjuster and I've seen things that, people lie about. Oh yeah, now my neck hurts, my arm hurts. You know what I mean? I After
It-
3 years, I mean, okay, I get it. Yes, you are going through trauma. I mean, but did you seek help? What did you
24
Hold on.
do?
years.
Hold on. Think about it this way, though. Somebody goes to war. I have friends of mine who were in Iraq back in, late 90s, early 2000s, throughout the time where, and they come back and they are still dealing with PTSD, even going through therapy and things like that. So, I mean,
No, but they're seeking the minute they got back, they were seeking help. They're not
not
waiting.
so much though. I mean, let's be real. PTSD really is something that we are finally starting to go, these people need help. You know what I mean? Some even even the people who go for therapy are still are having issues. I mean, I
Well,
have friends of
that's
mine
my
who
question. Did she seek help throughout that whole time, or is she now seeking the help to prove her case in court? That's my question.
Okay, so back in 2001, for one, she didn't tell anybody that it happened.
Mhm.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do the thumbs up. I'm trying to make points with my one. She didn't tell anybody right away. I mean, for one, I mean, wasn't it her boyfriend that brought her there? From what it's set up in the beginning here
Uh,
of the
Let's see.
story, AC.
Let's see.
If she was there with her boyfriend and he let it happen to her, there's a trust issue that comes in with that. He could gaslight her into saying, "Oh, you wanted it, or you got too drunk, or whatever."
Right.
We don't know. This is just me, trying to. But I mean, trauma is hard to get over. I mean,
Physical problems, chronic pain, and sexual discomfort.
that could definitely be if
Man,
she
this
doesn't.
just ruined her life, bro.
I mean, I have a million questions to ask because sometimes people go afterwards when they know that, okay, this has all come to light. Oh, I have a case. Now I can say I have this. Now I can say I have that and not have anything. So
Not a
I
real
have a
robust
million
story.
questions to
But it sounds like you're victim
ask.
blaming. Sounds like you're victim blaming. Okay.
No, I'm not victim blaming
It sounds
at
like
all. No,
It kind of does.
Like I
because
do.
That sounds
Like
like
I
you're
do.
victim blaming.
Yeah. Welcome to my side. Welcome to
I'm
my
Okay.
not
side.
victim blaming.
So now
I just
tonight I'm
have
working with
questions.
2 ACs.
I just have a million questions. I mean, I know I've gone through a lot of bullshit that I've gone through. But
And
I'm not, you know what I mean? Not, I want to know, what did you do during this time? What was going on? Like, were
She
you a
was
lot?
having
Because a
sexual
lot of
discomfort.
people,
She was picking bad people in bad
right. A
relationships.
lot of times when you have something like that happen, now you're a shit magnet because you feel like you're not worth anybody else, or you may not realize it. It's easier for somebody to prey on you
The
if
word
you've
for
gone
today, children.
through something.
The word for today, children, is shit magnet. Shit magnet.
I mean, I've been a shit magnet in my life.
Tell me about
I
it.
have, I've, but
Yeah.
a lot of times your self-esteem is down, somebody, I don't know. There's just a lot that goes into it.
I want to continue on this journey toward recovery and healing. I'm glad that he is locked up, but that's a temporary feeling of relief. Graves did not take any questions from reporters in her statement. Combs is currently being held at the Metropolitan Place in Brooklyn. That place is a shithole, by the way.
Is that
That place is a shithole. In
Is
fact,
it?
because of him, I read that because of him going there, they had to spruce the place up a little bit. They had to add stuff
well,
because
what?
it was
Really?
literally, it's called hell on earth. That's
Right,
where
but he doesn't
Really?
have. They don't have to spruce it up for a celebrity. For Pete's
Crazy, right?
sakes, he's a criminal like everybody else in there.
Ghislaine Maxwell was there. Michael Cohen was there. People go there.
But don't
Right.
don't they say like he has a lot of like enemies, that people that don't really like him?
No one likes him.
And
it
so
will be a great honor for any inmate to kill.
yeah, well, that's what they were talking about. There would be like a, they would take like a trophy if they did it. It's like a
Yeah, of
trophy
course.
if they did something to him. It would
Yeah.
be, which is crazy to me to even think of something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's the way gangs work. It's the way. I mean, could you imagine the actual pride you would feel? You'd be the guy that killed Puffy.
Did
I,
he? Yeah.
I'm kind of happy that they got him young at this age in his life
54?
versus like, well, I mean, he's still young. He's not like Bill Cosby when he got in trouble. When Bill Cosby was what, in his 70s and 80s or something like
Then
that.
he got out again.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm saying I'm happy that it's at his young still age where he can actually serve his time and pay for his crimes.
He can rot in jail for the rest of his life. Is
Yes,
that what
that's
you're
right.
trying to say, Rose?
Yeah. Yes.
About 30 years. About 30 years, and
He's still
give
got
me-
a good, another 40 years on him. He could, eat those
90
bologna.
94 years old.
I
He's got
mean,
30 years max. Max left in his
maybe.
life. I mean,
You
not
know,
everybody. I mean, the national average for a man to live is 74, I believe.
Eat those-
74, 76, something like
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Eat
It
those
gets shorter
bologna
every year.
sandwiches.
It gets shorter every year, especially when somebody wants to fucking shank you every 5 minutes. That's
Can
gonna
you imagine the
that's gonna
stress that he must be under right now? It's like,
Don't they have him in like a secured place, or is he in Gen Pop? I mean,
they have
I know
him-
they have him on suicide watch,
24 hours, 23 hours a day. Locked
right?
down.
Which, I mean, is more for his own safety than anybody else's.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he's a predator. The way they're putting it, I mean, he's literally I mean, he's the worst
is?
predator we've seen. So he should be in he should be, somewhere
Yeah.
else. Yeah. Because again, there are people in there that did not do this child thing, and especially when you put children into it.
I mean,
You're-
that's kind
your
of
target's
that.
this big.
They say there's no honor amongst thieves, but I mean, when you think
That's-
about it, as far as when people go to jail for essaying children, that's where criminals draw the line. They're like, you know what, we get it, you're a bad dude, but this is not right.
Mhm.
They might high five and fist bump on all the other shit, but when it comes to kids, they're like,
Yeah.
no.
No,
Yeah.
that's the other stuff. It's like not cool. So
Yeah.
they will take her down. They will take whoever down. So yeah, that's what's going on with good old Diddy.
I think this is going to be the gift that keeps on giving for a long time.
Yeah,
We'll
we're gonna be
probably
talking-
have
Yeah.
updates every
This is
every
gonna be
update
our
show.
Gypsy Rose. Yeah.
Which is, that's fine. I mean,
Keep talking about it, no problem.
yeah.
welcome to Gypsy Rose number 2.
Yeah. Gypsy Diddy. Diddy
Gypsy
Gypsy.
Diddy.
Diddy. Gypsy, they should do time together.
Anybody have
We'll
something else
add.
other than Diddy today? Or?
Yeah, I've got a story. I've got a lady that she was at a school stop. A school bus was at a stop, and she couldn't wait for that. She wanted to go around it right away. So she did, and she got caught and got in trouble. And the judge ordered her to stand outside on the corner with a sign that says "I'm an idiot."
Wow.
Would drive on the sidewalk, and she drove on the sidewalk
Oh,
to
Jesus.
avoid the school bus.
Drove on the sidewalk. Well, she's important. She had to get somewhere.
I
Yeah.
mean, for Pete's sakes, that's where the kids are getting off out of the bus.
That's literally their safe spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
In Cleveland.
but she had to say, I mean, just to
That's an
hold the sign up-
interesting take.
So the sign says, "I'm an idiot." What kind of only an idiot would drive on the sidewalk to avoid a school bus? That's what the sign
Yep.
says that she's holding up for the people who can't see it.
So,
Yeah, that's funny.
I mean, she got 30 days of her license was suspended, and then a fine of $250. And so she had to sit out there to conduct 60 minutes of 2 days of 120-minute sentence of standing out there with that sign. So lesson learned: do not go on a.
Wow.
I mean, as long as I don't get my shit revoked, I'll stand outside for no problem.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's if it's my. I'm sure that is because it's her first offense. If it was her second, she'd have no license and she'd be in jail.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
And thank goodness she wasn't drinking or anything.
Well, no, thank goodness no kids came out of the bus.
Or yeah, I
Can you
mean,
imagine if a kid came out of the bus and boom, she would have hit like that's
A bunch
we'd
of
have
them.
a completely different story.
Yeah.
yeah.
42
Yeah.
kids were fucking run over at the same time by a fucking
Exactly.
by an SUV.
Yep.
Yep. Well,
That's
that's the
crazy.
lightest sentence I've seen in a while.
I know.
Right?
I know.
Actually, really nice.
You get an idiot sign.
Well, she did get a sign. Didn't she? Here's your
Idiot.
sign for real. Go stand out on the corner. I love that.
What do you got?
So this
Sam?
is kind of well, we'll go with. So, sorry, I was trying to compose my thoughts on which I have two stories that I thought I could do. I can do either one, but this will raise some interesting banter, I think. So in Switzerland, they have legalized assisted suicide for people who are, terminally ill, elderly, whatever it may be. I actually pulled a story that I never did about a couple who decided to go together, knowing that one of them probably had a little bit more life left in them, but they decided they didn't want to live without each other, so they just planned the day and they went. But this is a different story altogether.
The capsule.
Yeah, good job.
You know what? That was going to be my next story.
Great minds think alike. So police in Switzerland have made multiple arrests after a woman reportedly ended her life using a so-called suicide pod. Now, the suicide pod, actually, you don't need any medical help with it. It hasn't been approved to be a legal form of assisted suicide or, in that type of a situation. What is good, so to speak, about this pod is that you can 3D print it if you want at home, and it uses nitrogen. Basically, you lay in the pod and it funnels in nitrogen, you fall asleep, and then you just don't wake up because you have no air. There is an escape.
I'm going to share a picture of it.
Sure. There is an escape button in there, like, oh, whoops, didn't want to do that. If you make a last minute decision not to. But they had heard that this might be used within the week. This woman was out at a cabin and, decided to take her own life. There's nothing really been brought up about who she is or what her ailment was, but because the people who have been arrested in this are because they allowed her to get to it and have access to it before it had been approved and all. So, I mean, I think legalizing something like this is a good thing. I know that, isn't it Oregon that allows assisted suicide here in the United States? I'm pretty sure Oregon's pretty progressive in that sort of type of thing.
Yeah.
And in situations, if I know that I'm terminally ill, I'd want to be in control of it myself. But it's just kind of interesting to know that it could be put into anyone's hands. They can do it pretty much 3D print it on their own if they wanted, if they had the means, and they wouldn't need so-called approval, by or
in Canada you can, right? In Canada you can go in.
I believe Canada you can as well. Yeah.
I think they passed that law this year where you can go to Canada. And I mean, if you're in pain and you're suffering and there's no cure and the doctors will tell you I only have so much, that's the way you want to go. I mean,
I know. I mean, we humanely put dogs down.
Yeah, sounds so obvious to us, right? When we say that, but you can't.
It's humane. We do that. I mean, if a dog is in pain, my mom asks me all the time, our dog Dexter, his back legs aren't working very well. She goes, do you think it's time? I'm like, no, he's not. He really doesn't act as if he's in pain. He eats well. He, runs as best as he can up to me during the day. You know what I mean? He's an older dog, but she's like, I'm like, I don't know if that's time yet, but she's wouldn't it be the most humane to let him go? And I'm like, however, why, if we're that humane to our pets, why can't we? I mean, I wouldn't want my mom to suffer if she decided, hey, I'm in pain, I want to go. I mean, they kind of do that when you go into hospice by giving you more, more and more morphine, but ultimately it doesn't, they don't deliver a lethal dose.
I mean, I look at it this way: if all the criterias meet, where you know what, there's no cure, they're in severely amount of pain, there's nothing you can do,
But who decides that?
and
Well,
your own self, it's your own body. I mean, aren't we
Mm.
fighting
fair if
for, women
Mhm.
have rights and all this stuff? I would be like, hey, if this is your
Do
choice.
they?
I mean, we have a choice to do piercings, we have a choice to do tattoos on ourselves, what we
That's really
wear. I
this is a
mean,
completely different level of like ending
well,
your
why
life.
can't we? Why can we not? It's our choice.
I agree with you, but it's not like that. It's not like that. They you can somehow, well, they've taken Roe versus Wade off the table, so you can't even do that
nope.
federally. But there's a you would think that you can just take your own life, which you can. You can just take 50 pills and just
I
fucking kill
mean,
yourself, no
you're
problem.
not going to jail. You'll be, but if
Yeah,
somebody helps you, they are.
that person's going to jail because it's not. We don't believe that your decision matters that much when it comes to your death. It has to be like almost a spontaneous thing to the state. You know what I mean?
Which that again, that doesn't make sense. If somebody has terminal cancer and there is no cure and they want to go on their own terms, I don't see anything wrong with that.
If
I
they have
mean,
terminal cancer, guess what they have to do until they die? They have to go to fucking a clinic. They have to have their insurance pay out. They have to continue the cycle of money, right? Like we want as much money as possible. If you could just take the easy way out as soon as you find out there's cancer,
well, I
then there's
mean,
we can't sell you things all along the way.
if I have
You know?
terminal cancer and there's no cure, I'm not doing chemo.
That's you're like one person in like 1,000 people.
Actually, Dave's mom decided that she had bone cancer years ago. She goes, I'm not doing chemo. I'd rather,
I'm right there
I'd
with
rather
you.
have quality rather than quantity.
Mhm.
I don't want to feel sick for the last days of my life.
Of course.
And then it ended up
Mhm.
happening where she did, where, she, the cancer spread and that's ultimately what took her. But I mean, she, she was taking a couple of things initially. And then she was like, I don't like the way it makes me feel. I'd rather just live out my life. So
That's ballsy, number one, super ballsy. And not like the norm. I don't think like a lot of people would just take what would it take to take this away, and they'll just jump at anything just to extend their life. And all. She's a very self-aware woman, or was.
oh, she was,
God
yeah.
bless her, right? So like a lot of people are going to do that. They're going to just jump at like. My point is, in the overall, like we're cattle. Like they see us as numbers. So like if we have the autonomy to just take our lives when we want to, and without any, that means we can just stop this like oncology like machine, right? Uh, the
It
treatments,
is
the pills, everything.
healthcare, especially in this nation, is
For profit.
is
It's
the
for profit.
biggest, business there is. So
Yeah.
I mean,
This is my favorite show. My favorite show is Futurama.
yes,
Are you familiar with it?
I am.
Are you familiar with it, Rose?
I've seen just the commercials and stuff like that of it.
So in
Huh.
1999, the show's been on for 23 years.
Mm.
In 1999, Philip J.
Mm.
Fry, the guy in the red jacket, he's a delivery boy, and he comes to deliver a pizza to IC Wiener and to nobody. And then he falls into a cryogenic pod. It closes, and then he lives in that pod for 1,000 years, and he wakes up in the year 2999 instead of 1999, right? And here in this reality, there are all types of stuff that he wasn't prepared to see. One of them being a suicide pod. Okay.
Oh,
So it's called a suicide booth.
yes, I remember that.
Yeah. So
Yes.
Fry and Bender first meet in line for a suicide booth. This is the way it starts.
Yeah.
In line for a suicide booth. Futurama booths first made an appearance in 1999, like I just said, and then so known as the Sarco portable capsule designed for use in assisted suicide in an independent legal review in 2021, right? That's the one, the real life one.
Yeah.
Right. But what they're saying is yet another crucial thing came up through Futurama. Futurama and The Simpsons are
Right.
both predicting the world, like everything. They predicted Trump. They predicted Diana. I mean, you name it.
Everything. Yeah.
Everything. And then Futurama has done this now. So the
Yep.
suicide pod was there. It's an obvious thing. Some people just want to fucking die. Period. And that we should facilitate that instead of like not glamorize it, but
Right.
maybe go through a certain number of questionnaires. It's like, look, I'm done. I have this. Like Rose said, I have this.
Mhm.
This is the reason I should go. And then who the arbiter of that, who allows that, I don't know. That should be your own thing, but like it should be automated. Like if if I have a questionnaire and like these are the things, these are the reasons why I should die,
Mhm.
and it says ding ding ding, then you should then do it.
Right.
It shouldn't be up to a person. But I thought it was really interesting how here's
Yeah.
this,
Our,
and then
our reality is
literally a cartoon,
yes.
literally a
That is
cartoon.
just crazy.
There she is, and there's the suicide pod that they fucking did in Futurama. So we're literally living in some kind of like simulation, I would
Yeah.
imagine.
One would think.
So that's
It
all I
Maybe
want.
definitely
No.
feels very Matrixy, doesn't it?
That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Maybe
Any
it's
reason to
been
bring up
there this whole
Futurama for
time.
me? Any reason to bring up Futurama
I
for me?
mean, I like it.
The best. I mean, come on. Katie Seagal.
Oh, I know.
I mean, she's amazing in that. I wanted to call my dog Leela.
Yeah. I love that.
Yep.
Okay. No, I thought that was a good one. I think there's nothing wrong with it. I know that the people that helped this woman facilitate or get that pod are in trouble because that form hadn't been legalized in Switzerland yet, but I don't know. I don't really think they should get too much time just because for one, it is legal in that area. You know what I mean?
I wonder how strict the laws are out there.
I'm not sure.
Pretty fucking strict. As soon as they find a dead body, they're gonna be like, "Who killed this person? Did you assist them?"
Yeah.
As soon as they come to get the body, they're gonna be like, "Did you assist this person? You're under arrest." Like immediately.
Yeah.
It happens immediately. That's the issue. That's the issue.
And isn't it if you
Crazy.
fail your own or fail a suicide that you can be arrested?
Yeah.
Here, at least in the States.
Which is crazy to me. You should have autonomy over if you want to live or die.
Right.
But you would ask the same question, like, what about a kid? Not them, right?
Well, I mean, if a child is terminally ill and they
have, like-
decide, I'd
And who
rather
decides
go
that?
peacefully than painfully.
Mm-hmm. Do you think
mean,
a kid has the wherewithal to decide that, to have that kind of faculty to make that kind of decision?
I don't think a little would.
No, but some kids, some
Some
kids
kids
do
are-
though. Some kids, because they've gone through like chemotherapy, they've gone through all these things, and they're just like, by the time they're just drained. I mean, I saw a friend of mine because she had bone cancer, and to see how much she suffered through it was just, going through chemo it was hard. It was really hard, and we were all 13 years old, and seeing
What
her
happened?
she's fine. They had to amputate her leg, but she's married with 2 kids now, and so far everything hasn't came back.
That's great.
So
Imagine if you would have been hasty and been like, I want to die.
Well, but see, if let's say that it was terminal and they said, hey, you know what?
But some people are still
There's nothing
called
we can
terminal,
do.
and some people are like, they said I was terminal 4 years ago and I'm still kicking. So like some people might use that terminal diagnosis. Like, remember, we don't trust doctors, do we? Right, Rose? We don't trust doctors. So we don't trust them, right? So when they tell you like, oh, you're terminal, it doesn't mean you're really terminal. It means like some guy said you're terminal, right? Like, so what if you take that information and like use it to like kill yourself? And you're like, man, fuck. I could have extended 20, a ton of people who are like, I've been living 20 years with cancer. And they said I had 6 months to live 20 years ago. So I think that's where it gets a little stuck.
Those are kind of the exception to the rule, though. Many people that they say that are terminal are very terminal. I mean, it happens. The exception to the rule is the people who live 20 years with it, who continue on. That's a rarity. It's again not the norm there.
What I'm thinking is like some people might jump the gun. You know, some
True.
people might jump the gun and be like, "Oh fuck, I have cancer. This means I'm done." I mean, everybody always tells me how horrible it is and blah blah blah, and it's just like, you know what, just end it. And
Well, I
you might
mean,
go too
that
far.
is their choice, though, right? I mean,
True. On some bad information though.
true. I think I don't know. For me, if I get a diagnosis, first thing I think of is what can we do? I don't want to die. You know what I mean? Let's do anything I can. And then, if it got to the point where it was terminal, I want that option to. I can't say that I would ever. I mean, I don't know. I've not been in the position. I don't know. So
yeah,
I'm just wondering if there's going to be more people that are going to go to other states like Canada or Switzerland
countries,
countries that have this availability. Are we going to see more people going there, or is this just kind of like I wonder what the percentage is of how many people actually think this way.
You'd have to be a citizen, otherwise you're just a tourist killing yourself there. You know what I mean? Like,
but I want to know what the percentage is of people that feel this way. They feel like they want to, end it. I would like to.
I mean, you can still.
So many people want to die.
You can go to. I mean, Oregon has had a Death with Dignity Act since 1997, so they're very progressive in that respect. It gives, which allows terminally ill individuals to end their lives through the voluntary self-administration of lethal medications. So Oregon does have that in place.
Or just live in Texas and shoot people, kill a couple people, and just get the death penalty. That's a long way.
Anyone can do, suicide by cop. They could be, whatever.
Yeah, suicide by cop is a good one. Yeah, just crash into something, and where a bunch
brandish
of
a gun and
come on and be like, motherfuckers, and then just kill you.
Or just go into I don't know, a big Chicago or somewhere where they're having the Venezuela stuff. Just go over there. I'm gonna do it for you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Any parade, anywhere there's just a ton of cops and be like, I'm gonna kill y'all, and then you just die. I mean, not everybody wants to get shot to death though. It's tough.
I don't know. It's tough. It's really tough. It's hard. So what you got for us, AC?
Oh boy, I've been looking, and a couple things here, but I wanted to get a really good one. I got sidetracked by the Futurama thing, but so it's not new, right? It's not new, but there's something called it's a docuseries, right? And it's 43 years later, so it happened in 1981, right? 4 people were brutally murdered in a drug house of the Wonderland Gang in Los Angeles. Right?
Okay.
So there's an MGM Plus docuseries called The Wonderland Massacre and the Secret History of Hollywood. That might deserve a deeper dive.
Okay.
But it's
a good one.
Have you seen
I've
it?
not seen it.
Yeah, good one.
Okay. So yeah. So basically, let's see if we can share the screen and then share. I hope this works because lately I just got fiber optic internet and it was still choppy, so I hated that. Let's see if you guys can hear this and it looks good.
Okay.
Let me know.
I can see it. There we go.
Several acquittals, the quadruple homicide remains unsolved. A new MGM Plus documentary, The Wonderland Massacre and the Secret History of Hollywood, goes into the case.
Eddie Nash, the drug kingpin, was robbed of $1 million worth of drugs.
Wanted revenge cattle. Porn actor, right into the middle of everything. Scott Thorson, Liberace's lover, knew.
So John Holmes is the porn guy,
Okay.
right? And Liberace's lover.
About the murders. He does, in fact, talk about.
It is a bit patchy.
Yeah.
The video's coming through fine. The sound is not. I'm not sure why.
I don't understand why. I don't get it. It's through the Roadcaster. I have no idea why it's doing that. But anyway, it's basically takes a much closer look at the unsolved Wonderland murders is basically it. And I'd like to do a deeper dive into it.
Yes.
Because let me bring up the actual article I was looking at so we can actually look at the case. Wonderland Murders. Here we go.
It's
So
really good. Yeah, this is a really good deep dive. This is one that it's a really, really good deep dive into it.
yeah, I definitely want to.
I don't want to spoil it because I'm like, I didn't.
Yeah, we can do is we'll put it on the calendar. So, the Wonderland Murders, also known as the 4 on the Floor Murders or the Laurel Canyon Murders. Sorry, they're unsolved murders that occurred in Los Angeles on July 1st, 1981. But it assumed that 5 people were targeted to be killed in the known drug house, the Wonderland Gang. 3 of whom, Ron Launius, anybody?
I would say
Launius.
Launius.
Okay. William Billy Deverell and Joy Miller, they were present. Launius, Deverell, and Miller, along with the girlfriend, were the of an accomplice. Barbara Richardson died from extensive blunt force trauma injuries. Only Launius, his wife, Susan, survived the attack, allegedly masterminded by the organized crime figure and nightclub owner Eddie Nash. Nash and his henchmen, Gregory Dials, and porn actor John Holmes, they were at various times arrested, tried, and acquitted for their involvement in these murders. So,
oh wow,
yeah, people who actually were big time folks, especially John Holmes. Dude had a big ass dick. he slayed everybody on camera. So it's in the 70s and 80s. So he I don't know if he uses his dick to get out of this one, but but he was part of this huge thing, and there was people who died, and I think this deserves a deeper dive. But
yeah,
that's mine. I just want to nip at its heels real quick, so just to pique your interest, see if you guys want to do it in the future.
Yes,
that's mine. Yeah, that's mine.
Yeah, no, this is a good. It's really good. The documentary on it's really good, and you're just like there. You're just like going with your popcorn. You know what I mean? It's just one of those that you're just like, holy shit, wow.
We'll wet your whistle a little more. Around 4:30 a.m. on July 1st, 1981, 2 days after the robbery, which is what we were talking about there, an unknown number of unidentified men entered the Wonderland Avenue townhouse and bludgeoned Launius, Deverell, Miller, and Barbara Richardson, Lynn's girlfriend, who had been visiting, to death. The weapons used by the killers were believed to be a combination of hammers and metal pipes. So what really drew me into this was the fact that these people just fucking killed 5 people with hammers and metal pipes. It wasn't even like guns. It was like
right.
Which
it doesn't that kind of indicate a hatred, or you know what I mean?
Like a personal
thing. To bludgeon somebody to death with a hammer and a metal pipe. It seems like there was some big time feelings there, whether it be anger or whatever it may be.
Yeah, exactly right. Like to want to, and we've talked about that several times. The want to actually raise your hand and then bring it down several times is much harder than just pulling
pulling a trigger in a way. I mean, it detaches you from the actual act. Right. Yes, you see the bullet hit whatever it hits, but I mean,
do people kill people or do guns kill people? It brings up that
right.
Detach like, it was the gun that killed them. Not really. This fucking metal pipe, the first time you didn't kill that, it's like 5 or 6 fucking good times in the head to explode somebody's face or whatever.
Right. I mean,
so you want them dead.
You really want somebody dead if you're bludgeoning them.
That's right. So, a little further here, so Richardson's bloodied body was found in the living room floor beside the couch where she had been sleeping that night. Miller was found on her bed with Deverell at the foot of the bed in an upright position leaning against the TV stand. A hammer was found on the bed. Launius was found beaten to death on his bed with gravely injured wife Susan beside him on the floor. Both bedrooms had been thoroughly searched and ransacked. Despite the suffering severe brain damage in the attack, Susan ultimately survived and recovered, but she was left with permanent amnesia. Wow. Regarding the night of her attack, and she had part of her skull surgically removed, and she lost a finger somehow. I guess probably when she was like stopping herself from actually getting brain damage.
Kind of. This is my brain. You know how we've talked about how we thought as kids quicksand was going to be such a big thing?
Right.
I also thought amnesia might be too. Like if I hit my head too hard, but I won't remember anybody. I thought it was
Who am
much
I?
more widespread than it actually is. So to
Yeah.
have somebody have permanent amnesia is pretty cool. I know that's dumb and horrific for her. I feel bad, but at least she doesn't remember it.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. And then neither
Do you
Lynn
think they
nor
don't remember? Do you think they don't remember what had happened, or is it just like they remember up to that point?
It says regarding the night of her attack. So I think she doesn't remember anything from that night on. I don't know. I mean, by the way it's worded, but regardless, at least she doesn't know. I mean, it would
Oh,
help
yeah.
the police more, but she doesn't have that trauma. She knows
At
what
least she
happened, you
remember the
know.
horrific thing
Yeah.
she suffered through.
Yeah, it. I don't want to read any more because I think I want to take a deep dive. But you know,
Yeah.
a lot of moving parts in this, and a lot of like famous people also touch
Yeah.
this. So I
Mhm.
think we should take a deeper dive into this at a later date.
I
But at
agree.
least I wet everybody's
I
whistle,
Love it.
Agree.
which
I
sounds
like it.
sexual, but it's not. It's not sexual. So yeah, the Wonderland
agree.
Murders. I look forward to learning more about it.
Me too.
Nice. So, I got a last story for the night. I love watching Nancy Grace. Do you guys watch her? You guys, maybe if I show you
A
guys
little bit
picture
too
or two.
intense. A little bit. I know. A little bit too intense for me.
Yeah, I love listening to her in the morning. She's great.
Let me tell you about our. Yeah.
Yeah.
She did
A
this.
bit too much for me.
She's a lot. Yeah.
I just really like her.
Do you like her because she's intense, or do you like her because she what she says?
I love that she's just blunt. There's no filter to her. You know what I mean? There's no. She's like Dr. Laura. She just
Well,
spits it all out.
she works for a major news station, so there is definitely a filter on her. You have
Mm.
to. There's no one who ever works for Fox or CNN or anybody like that. You're going to get the real truth. Like, there's always a filter. Remember, it's corporate media. So remember to look at it through that lens. If she says what you like, that's different. But there's definitely a filter on it.
Well, she did a story on Sarah Bones. She's facing second-degree murder because she decided to put her boyfriend in a suitcase and tape herself and laugh about the whole thing.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So I'm gonna play this clip because you can actually see it.
Okay.
Her and as she's talking to the police officer.
Why would he
too.
get in the suitcase? The first comment. Why would he get in the suitcase?
I really want to know how small he was to fit in a
Right?
suitcase. Okay.
big
Or
the
how
suitcase
big
is.
said suitcase is.
Yeah.
Almost said suitcase. Jesus Christ.
Say suitcase.
Said suitcase.
It's a bigger suitcase. Play the fucking thing.
Oh,
Nancy
shit.
Grace.
Hold on.
Let me tell you something. I'm Nancy Grace.
Yeah, unmute it.
There it is.
Bottom, yeah.
There we go.
You got it.
Films herself laughing at
Why isn't it playing?
It's playing. It was.
Oh, is it? Can you guys hear it?
case.
Now,
She
yeah.
says during a game
Oh, I can't hear
of
it on my
hide
side.
and seek in a suitcase. Let me warn you, this is very disturbing.
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me. You. That's my name. Don't wear it out.
I'm sorry. Who's getting in the suitcase, bro? You guys are cucked.
Yeah, he's like, let me out, let me out.
Oh, that's what I feel like when you ching on me. Yeah. You should probably shut up.
Guys, I want you to hear, first of all, the 911 call. Listen.
911, what is the location of your emergency? 4748 France Court, apartment 3. Is this a police or medical? My boyfriend is dead.
Tell me exactly what happened there.
My boyfriend and I were playing last night, and
Playing.
I put him in a case and we were playing. And like kind of
Hide and seek kind of thing, except I knew exactly where he was the whole time.
Yeah.
That's the worst case of hide and seek I've ever seen.
Right. Which the story was crazy when I saw. I was like,
Lots of
what
questions.
would make,
Why would you
what
get in
would
the
make
fucking
you go?
suitcase?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did she get him in there?
Yeah.
not
I
pro-
want to know.
I'm not processing how she did not let him out. That's like the fourth comment.
TMZ Studios.
A Florida woman actually films herself
Florida woman.
laughing
Oh.
I mean, that
as
tracks.
she leaves her
TMZ Studios.
a Florida woman
going on?
actually films
I don't know what's
herself
going on. I can't hear anything on my
laughing
side.
Let's leave
as
it. Let's leave
she
it.
Oh
Okay.
shoot. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
I
could
can't
hear
hear.
it. We could hear it fine.
you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So his bad for allowing him to get in a suitcase. There's no game that I'm going to play with my wife that I'm going to get in the suitcase for. I don't care what
No.
kind of a BDSM bondage, kind of a fucking kink we're trying to get through.
Right.
I'll get in something, but there's going to be one arm ready for me to get out. I mean, how I would just
And then
allow her to
let
have
her
my
zip it
life in
up.
her hands? No.
And then to let her zip it up and close it up, and
I mean, like,
Yeah.
bye.
can't you
Yeah.
can't you stick your finger in between the two little zippers? Like, isn't there enough little space to like start?
Maybe that's a clip on it where you can do it. Who knows?
Or did
Who
she
knows?
lock it and just say, "Here you go. You ain't going nowhere."
She could have. Yeah.
And if that's the case, what kind of a fucking crazy bitch are you? And what kind of a game are you playing? Hide and seek. I know where you are. That's defies the purpose of hide and seek.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, if we think about it in a different way, she kept saying to him, "This is what this is how it feels like when you choke me," or blah blah blah. Blah. It seemed like maybe she
Revenge.
was over the abuse, and I mean, I wouldn't have done it that way, but I think both of them were a little probably abusive to each other. But I mean, maybe she had just had enough, and that's what she could think of. I don't know.
I mean, she definitely sent him on a good vacation, I guess. That's what you want to look at.
Permanent vacation.
Pack your bags.
Pack your bags. You're going on a permanent vacation.
Yeah.
Um.
Well, that's definitely the side of the if it's retribution because he's a dickhead, whatever. She's still going to jail no matter what.
Yeah, I mean.
And if it's not, if he's just a crazy bitch, then they're playing some kind of a BDSM game. You're stupid.
Yeah.
And you're sick.
I'm not getting in anybody's suitcase. Hey, babe, you want to get it? It's going to be hot. Just get in the suitcase and just stick your dick out the zipper, and then we'll do it that way. Like,
no,
we're not doing that. We're not doing
No.
that. Okay, all right. You get in.
I think the sick part is she sat there. For me, it's like you're sick on sitting there, watching him like suffer and suffocate. Go, hey, I can't breathe, and you're just laughing through the whole. You're like,
unless he's a torturer, in which case you would love that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I
Yes, you would.
guess.
Unless he was, we don't know enough. So unless he was an abuser, like Sam said, and then if he's an abuser, then you would sit there and fucking mock the fuck out of him until he died, right? Because then that would be cool.
I wonder how many times he actually got into the suitcase. I wonder if it's not his first. She just said, "Oh, maybe that's his fetish thing to get in the suitcase and
be their suitcase." Yeah, their BDSM suitcase. Yeah.
I mean, it could be that it could have gone wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, he was in there this amount of time, this time, and whatever, and then he didn't say whatever safe word.
I guess 24 minutes was too much now.
Yeah.
24 minutes was fine before.
Right, exactly. Could be.
Oh boy.
But why would you record yourself?
That also could be his kink.
That could be the kink. I could be like,
It could be the
maybe he has a Houdini kink where he feels like he wants to get out of he has to escape from it, and he's
but
like,
also has
that
what
makes
is
me
the
hard.
kink where you want the degradation
The humiliation kink.
Humiliation kink where that's why she's like, this is why you're in there, blah blah blah. It's like
Dominatrix kind of a shit. Mhm.
Yeah.
Some people love that. I mean, I like it. Not all the time, but every once in a while. Hey, being told to do something very sternly is kind of hot. A little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Lick my ass. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I will lick it. No worries. But get in the suitcase is different than lick my ass.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, with that said, thank you everyone for joining us for an amazing night. And I know this is not our typical Friday night show, but I will be on my way to Vegas. Sam is going to go.
I will be sleeping. Yeah, doing a race the next morning at 6 a.m. Pray for me or
You'll
not.
be ready for it, don't you? Sure. Just stretch out really well, and then we'll go to dinner, Rose.
Yes. So
We'll post some shorts from dinner. We'll post some shorts from us getting together.
And you know what? We'll probably do something. Something and put it together for our Monday night show because we won't have one on Monday. So just let everybody know.
Maybe we'll do a live. Maybe we'll do a live Monday. Who knows?
Oh yeah, maybe yeah.
You have time.
So we will talk to you guys soon. Stay tuned for some new stuff. So we will see you guys on Monday, and maybe we'll go live on Saturday when we're in Vegas.
Remember, like, subscribe. If not, true crime will happen to you.
Subscribes are free, folks. Subscribes are free.
Yeah. You don't want to get true crime, do you?
Nope.
Yep.
Be a pity if your pretty face got true crime.
So we'll see you next week. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.